dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel want to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he finds ways to master anything that he want to do. You know, he's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through. Left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's, who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then, in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. Whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion. But there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.
My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at College of Charleston.
Good job.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And you all know that I'm still constantly looking for him. Thank you all for coming in to this Q&A this morning. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. Geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son Daniel had graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. After he graduated from college, he decided to come out here to Arizona after taking the class in Flagstaff. He also landed his job while he was here taking that class. So right out of college, he ended up getting hired with a company called Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater for those who out here in the West. What they do is, well, his job is as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist, as he goes to well sites to check the viabilities of those well sites. Like I said, most communities that they build out here in this state here, by law, is required to have a well that's producing at least 100 years of water, and also to check the viability of the well, like I said, to make sure the water is drinkable. So, it's a lot of rocks and things like that. They had to get a lot of samples and stuff like that from the well bottom after it's been drilled and placed into the ground. So Daniel was doing exactly that. So it's something that he always do. And normally when he's at a well site, my son and I, we have our 2-hour conversations. Most of those times, a lot of those times, is when he's at those well sites, while he's waiting on these measurements, waiting on whatever he's doing to get those measurements. He and I will have our 2-hour conversations. So those are some of the things that I do miss, not having those conversations with my son. But this morning, of the 23rd, is when the opportunity for me to talk to my son for those 2 hours has stopped. It was told that my son, went to the first well site that morning, early that morning. And then after that first well site, he went to the second to meet a worker from Weber. That worker, he called that worker to meet him on the street there of Sun Valley Parkway. That worker came out of the well site, met him out on the road. Well, this story is from the worker, by the way. He came out to the road and met my son. And when he got to the road, my son got the vehicle. They talked for a brief second. My son followed him down into that desert to the well site. To get to that well site is 1 mile west off the road there, and then you have to go up north 2 miles north to get to this well site. And from that well site, once they got there, that worker said that they had a brief conversation. Some was about the weather, some was about my son wanting to return back to Phoenix because he's tired and things like that. There was some talk about possible rain that was coming. My son, according to this worker, my son wanted to close the job down for the day because of that. He told me that he told my son no, he wanted to stay because he thought the sale was going to pass because it was very short rain. My son, he said my son left. Wade got his vehicle. Wade talked to him, got in his vehicle where he drove off. My son had never been seen again after that point. I'm here today because I've been searching for my son since he's been missing. I don't want to put in the missing persons report. On the 23rd, reported him missing. It took a while. I had to wait the full 12 hours. I called a few hours short. I think it was 2 or 3 hours short. And I had to wait around the house until that 12-hour mark just to put in that missing person report. But ultimately, I was able to put that report in to try to find out where Daniel was located, see if the officer could help. They seemed very helpful at the beginning. I had an Officer Cruz who was told me he was going down this road called Sun Valley Parkway. At the time, I didn't know that, what it meant, but I knew it was something he was doing that made me feel better. I said, great. He said he's going to see if he's stuck on the side of the road or something going on with that. As he was doing that, I later talked to some of the workers there from my son's job, found out it was actually the desert that my son was last seen. He was out in the desert. This road is off from the desert area from where he was last seen. Got a little more ideal. I asked the officer to call him back and asked him, could they please go out and search for my son out there in that desert? Because here it is. He said, okay, well, it's nighttime. They couldn't do it. It's dark here in Arizona. They can do it in the morning. Of course, pacing the floor all night, keeping in contact with the officers, see what they're doing, see if we can get a missing person's alert out, or do all kind of things like that. The morning came. We talked to Officer Haley, I believe his name was, who took over from the night officer job. And he told me, yes, they're going to have this helicopter go out to search for Daniel. Okay, I was really relieved for that. I feel like I'm starting to get some answers. Maybe we can find my son. He'll be fine. They called me back almost an hour later and said, he told me, no, it's not going to be a flight. His supervisor, the higher ups, how you put it, unauthorized the flight. They canceled it, unauthorized it because they said my son is a grown man. If he want to disappear, he can. So hearing that really got me upset. Grabbed everything I can, put it in my vehicle, start headed here to Arizona. Made it here on the 26th. I got a phone call and from my aunt saying that they was going to put this Phoenix Firebird in the air. Okay, well, I'm feeling really grateful for that. I didn't know where Buckeye was at the time. I came out into Phoenix, Arizona. But you can imagine I did keep in contact with the Buckeye Police Department, try to do everything I can to work with them, and also to begin what I call as my own investigation, try to find my son myself, along with the police department. So working with the police department to do that, giving all the information that we can, my daughter and myself. In the meantime, we did a lot of going into parking lots. I mean, to everything you can think about, trying to locate Daniel. I mean, we went all around this whole city of Phoenix and also the city of Tempe, where my son was a resident. From going to his dental shops to, just find out his appointments to whatever, just try to find everything we can about his daily movements. So it was a lot of investigational stuff on my behalf as a father, and also working with the Buckeye Police Department at the time, because that's all I had. Those guys, everything we asked for, they couldn't get. They couldn't get the cell phone pings. They said first they told us they was going to get the cell phone pings. They was going to get this and get that. Then again, the same higher up came in and say, no, we're not doing it. We can't get it because, no judge, how you put it, will give them a warrant for cell phone pings, or to get camera footage that we was asking for from the traffic light to show that he left to go to his job go that morning. This kind of track his tracks or whatever. They couldn't do that. Then we thought about the Uconnect. They was going to say they was going to look into the Uconnect. They kept calling the OnStar. Said no, it's the Uconnect. Verified that. Then they told us no, they could not do that because they got to have a warrant. And then later, a few days later, came back and said, yes, we can. We talked to Uconnect, and we got the information. It's all zeros. There's nothing on the grids. It came up all zeros, and it's showing nothing. And I didn't understand that part of it. Some of the excuses to that was to say some of that was because they was feeling like where they told me Uconnect saying there's something wrong with the vehicle where it was being disconnected. The battery had to be disconnected for it to malfunction. They give it all zeros. The Uconnect is what I'm speaking of. Giving all zeros on the grid or whatever, so they could not get a location off that Uconnect where my son's vehicle was located. So that was very devastating. All that stuff, everything we asked for, this police department, they told us reasons why they couldn't get it done, or reasons why this is not available, things like that. So it was very frustrating for me and my family at the time, trying to get all those answers, trying to get answers from his job, trying to find out what was going on, to get the real details of everything that's going on. But it seemed like everything wasn't working out from that. We tried to get them to go do a welfare check to get into his apartment because we don't know if he was in there. Somebody did some foul play. We couldn't get in it ourselves. The landlords wouldn't let us in. So we had a difficult time. He said they couldn't do it. They had to have a warrant. And so the officer asked my daughter and myself to break in Daniel's apartment. Just don't get caught. Just don't get caught. So we, of course, hearing that, I'm really shocked to hear that from a law enforcement officer to tell us that, but later we was able to gain access. But at the same time, before we got the access ourselves, the Buckeye Police Department did convince the landlords, who was very adamant about letting anybody in Daniel's apartment because of their legal situations with their attorney's advice. The detective did call them, Detective Biffin, He asked them for a favor. Hey, look, if you please just let me in there. We just want to go look or whatever. So what they did is they said they finally talked with their people, came back with Detective Biffin and said, yes, you can go in there, but we have to go in there with you. You can't touch anything, but we can walk with you, which they did. But they didn't allow the family in. They didn't allow me in at the time. But like I said, later was able to get access in into that apartment. But anyway, in the meantime, of all of that, I've been started conducting my own searches. One of the biggest reasons I had to conduct those searches is, first of all, I need to find my son and rescue him. I really believe that's the last place I was told that he was located. So, of course, I'm going out there to find my son. So in the process of doing that, also just with the volunteers out there, we're going out there searching and doing what we can to try to find, locate Daniel. But at the same time, said I wanted to find out what this guy from that well, this whole narrative come from. For that, I was able to talk to the worker from the from the well site that was there. He told me from that date, it's probably about almost a week later upon my arrival to this the state here. He told me he was there every day to the well site from that date Daniel went missing. He's working at well site every day because they're still doing whatever they do as a worker. I guess whatever they do to that well. He still was on that project. That day when I met him out there, I secured that meeting with him on Sun Valley Parkway on the road out there through Daniel's job. They was able to contact him for me to get the information, let him know I was coming out to talk to him. So I brought 2 other witnesses with me. We went out there on that road. I interviewed this guy because as a father, you got to look at somebody in the eye that tell you something different from what you know about your own child. This guy telling me my son, and this one I'm hearing from the cops, and then, hey, this guy saying that after a little brief conversation, 10 minutes conversation, my son pretty much just waved off and drove off and went into some desert where he had never seen again. My son is a very intelligent man. Of course, I'm going to be biased because he's my son. I have to be biased. I know his intelligence level. I know how smart my son is. I know his personality, things like that. So I have more lead to go by than the average person who seen my son for 10 minutes and can make a diagnosis about his mental state or diagnosis about him being weird or strange and things like that. Without a medical license, a guy can tell people that. But hearing that story didn't set well with me. Of course, any story, I'm sure it wouldn't sit well with me if he's missing, of course. But that story didn't sit well with me back in South Carolina on the way up here. And, like I said, I had to look this guy in his face. He had to tell me this in my eye that my son just pretty much just drove off and disappeared. People just don't disappear and vanish. There got to be something to that. My son, in my opinion, at the time would not have even come. They made it sound like to me at the time that he just didn't want to be there. He just took off and left. My son, in my opinion, would not even come to the first well site. When I found out he went to one well site before that well site, I've said in my mind, my son didn't want to be at work. He just wouldn't have came to work at all. He wouldn't waste his time going to 2 well sites versus 1. He wouldn't have been there. He wouldn't have went there in the first place. But at the same time, my son is very responsible young man. Like I told you all before, he started off with a little car that he had almost fix and repair every day just to get to work, to make sure he's there on time. He's been taking care of himself. Him, his sister, and my family, we had plans to meet with Daniel. We always meet here in Phoenix in July last year to spend time together with each other. I was wanting to come see them in their new places. They moved away from South Carolina. This has been my first trip to see them in their own environments, and also to be able to see Daniel's new Jeep Renegade that he was really proud of. And so, all that was set in motion. So all that is in my mind as I have to find out the reasons why my son just vanished off the face of the earth. People just don't vanish off the face of the earth. Stories have to be checked out fully. And from what I can tell to this date, my pen and everything I know, this story from that the one worker at the well site where this whole story began, it doesn't fan out to me, and it wasn't vetted properly, meaning that nobody was ever brought into the police department like they did me and my daughter. When they asked us to come to the police department, I didn't realize when we were strolling down our phones, showing them Daniel's phone records, phone record to trying to do everything with the bank. I'm calling USAA Bank and things like that to get information about Daniel's account at the department. I didn't realize we were sitting in an interrogation room. I think the only person that's ever been in an interrogation room in this whole situation is me and my daughter. Nobody ever been there outside of me and her. And so the reasons why, I don't know. I look at when I look at it hindsight, yes, I do remember how that room looked. Yes, it indeed was an interrogation room. So like I said, my whole goal was to be here and to find my son, and I've been doing that since. Started the searches. The searches was spanning all the area of the well. That's all we had, the whole area around the well and beyond. So we was going out to see areas that was the well was going west and was going east and was also going a little bit north. So that was taking some time, of course. Starting off a search off of ground. This is grassroots thing. I started. I had a website already before I started the searches. To get the searches going, I started a website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. With that website, website, I was able to put out my son's story first about our family and things like that. From that point, when I found a gentleman to help me with the searches, we opened up searchfordaniel.org. That website was dedicated to just the searches and to try to get people involved with the searches. So I was able to do that, got the searches going, and then almost 30 days later, lo and behold, Daniel's vehicle showed up almost 3 miles away, almost 3 miles away from that well site. And that was found by a rancher on July the 19th. Who was coming there searching for his cattle, is what the story is told. And he been there 2 to 3 days prior to the 19th. He looked for his cattle. The vehicle wasn't there in that ravine. But when he came back on the 19th to see the cattle made it through there yet, that's when the vehicle was there. He reported to Buckeye Police Department, where they say they did extensive search using cadaver dogs with an S. They used search dogs with an S, helicopters and drones, and didn't come up with anything. They had a full search entire day from that morning, all the entire day. But they called me the next morning and to alert me that the vehicle was found by that rancher almost a little over 24 hours later. So to be able to bring you back fast forward, I did hire a private investigator based on all the things that I heard from that Buckeye Police Department. They didn't do any forensics work on the scene. I had a meeting with them to confirm that. And also I requested them to do fingerprinting, which they ended up doing a few days after the vehicle was turned over to me. They did a fingerprinting. That's what you can read in that report. And I requested that, by the way. So anytime y'all read that in the report, don't think it was something that the Buckeye Police Department did on their own. It's something I requested of them. So it's not, of course, I'm not going to reflect that in their report, but that's the way it actually happened. Fast forward now, I'm here. Started as Q&A. That was based on the fact that my son's case went semi-nationally because of my hard work of really working to get the local news channels to take Daniel's story, to working really hard day and night, getting no sleep, to working things on social media. Like I said, I had a website, working every social media that I can. One night, a lady took one of the tweets and tweeted it out, retweeted it, and added her stuff to it, and it went viral. So that kind of helped go out there. Also, just like I said, the sheer fact of inboxing, texting, emailing, everything I could do, making phone calls that reached out to Joy Reid, for instance, for MSNBC, one of her friends I was able to get in contact with, learned her that what was going on with Daniel's case. And then lo and behold, there was the Petito case that also pushed Daniel's story out there because they talk about the disparities of people of color, what happens when we have our loved ones missing. Hindsight now, just like I said, this Q&A and this whole YouTube channel is based on that narrative. Hey, look, these guys, I've been from Dr. Oz to Red Table Talk to Dateline to you name it, CNN, MSNBC, different places to get Daniel's story out. But as you know, after a while, news channels will not be able to continue on with the story when there's nothing new. I learned that a lot. It's heartbreaking to me as a father who's trying really desperately to keep Daniel's name out there and get some action done on this case. And so to see that go down like that because of the newness of the story, so they're looking for something new. Right now, the news is always, we talk about right now what's happening in that country over there. So things is going to definitely be put on the back burner. But that's how the news cycles work. Like I tell in the family, this happened to you, you need to create your own. So I decided to create my own. I got help from Gizla K from Grizzly True Crime. She helped me get this channel off the ground. So went ahead and got this channel off the ground. And like I said, the channel's here just for Daniel to put his story out there. Also, the goal is to put other family stories out there. So, if you guys can bear in with me, you hear the stories over and over again. You hear certain things, details over again. But the Q&A is for you to ask questions. Some of those questions may be over and over again, but ultimately it's for those who you all reaching out to. You guys have been champions with that. I'm up to 1,000 some subscribers now. It happened very quickly. And that's only because you guys have been working really hard getting Daniel's story out there for me. And I'm really grateful you doing it. I will never take you all for granted. I'm really grateful for what you do when you do that. And that's what helped the channel grow. If you keep on doing that, sharing, like, and subscribing to the channel, tell other people to do the same. They help me get the story out. Just same thing as CNN can do or anybody else can do, you can do it for yourself. So tell these families to please, saying this, you want to get your loved one's story out there, create your channel, put their person's name out there, do what you got to do. I don't like being in front of cameras, much as it may seem that way. I do not like being in front of cameras. I have just gotten good at it. I've gotten good at it for doing it for so long, doing all these interviews and things like that, caused me to be a little more comfortable now to be able to do that. So thank you all again for being here this morning. Again, my name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, and who went missing on June 23rd. He's my son. I'm looking for him, and I'm thanking you all for being here this morning to help me do so. First, I want to start off with, one thing I want to mention. I will have Mr. Short on in a little bit, probably in 5 minutes. The time goes by really quickly. I've been talking for 30 minutes, and the time is going by really quickly, but I will have him on at 7 o'clock. And I think I did what I didn't do before is sending him a link. But, he will be on here at 7 o'clock. So if you guys can please be here, just hang in there with me. I'm going to continue talking right now because I had to send him a link. So thank you all for being here this morning. Again, like I said, from the time that my son went missing on June 23rd, like I said, I've been doing a whole lot of things from doing everything I can, try to find my son from, like I say, walking, me and my daughter, we started this off going all over the place, trying to make sure we get his story out there, and also to make sure that we do everything we can, our due diligence to find him. That was the biggest part is finding my son and make sure that he's found, and make sure the police department is doing whatever they can to do so. So if you guys can hold on with me for 1 minute, I just sent Mr. Evans Short a link. If he's out there and he can hear that, I apologize again. I do that every time. I have so much going on. I have so many moving parts. If I don't stay on top of things, I do have a team that really helps me out to keep on track on everything, because so many things other than trying to organize a search out there and organize, the flyer distributions, to even conducting this investigation, to trying to get these people to do something. I mean, different departments. So my mind is everywhere. At one time, I say I do one thing, I'm going to do this, and then end up turning out somebody say something or something else happen. I get a phone call or whatever the case may be. It throw me off, and then that thing don't get done sometimes. So I do have a team that kind of help me go straight. I have Gwen there to help me keep straight. So I'm really grateful for everybody who's in the background helping me keep this thing straight. So I see you out here in the chat doing the moderation. So thank you for being here this morning. I will say something to you. Thank you, Patty, for Facebook being here this morning. I'm really grateful that you came out. Also, thank you, Sassy Rare Breed, for being here. Thank you, Nikki O'Shea, for being here. For being here, I really appreciate it. Again, thank you, Cassidy, for being here this morning. Oh yeah, good morning. I wish I could help meet you in person. Yes, I wish you too. Everybody who comes out to the searches or anything, yes, I would like to shake your hand. You're part of the family, and I'm really grateful whenever you do able to. So if you're not, there's other ways you can help. Please help finddaniel.com, and there's other ways that you can help. Also, thank you, Ra, the creator. Thank you so much for being here this morning from YouTube. Thank you, Sophia, one of the team members. Thank you so much. I know you just heard what I was saying there. Oh, well, I'll say your name, but thank you so much for being here this morning to help out here in the chat and the moderator, and also to keep me straight. Thank you, Gwen, for being here, and thank you for keeping me straight, and also being in the chats as the moderator and helping spread the information out there for me. Like you have here, you guys, if you can share, and subscribe, that would definitely help this YouTube channel continue to grow. Like I said, it was because of you all that I have 1,000 subscribers already and growing. Growing, and that means every time I see the subscriber level go up, that means that I'm getting out farther and farther to more people. Because I'm here in Arizona a lot, of course. I'm here in Arizona and out there a lot is what I want to say. Trying to pass out flyers and stuff, and there's a lot of people that say, "Hey, look, I haven't even heard your son's story." So definitely, we definitely need that to keep that stuff going out there. So thank you all for being here this morning. Forever Curious, thank you for being here this morning. Again, Nikki, thank you for being here. O'Shea, thank you also, Rod the Creator, again for being here. Shauna B, thank you for being here, being part of the team. Also, definitely keep me straight, keep things in order. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Saneed. Thank you so much for being here this morning, and I really appreciate it. So I'll give it a bring on Mr. Short. You guys will bring on Mr. Short, and I will continue on with these coming down the timeline. And if you have a question, and I'm sure that after I get off of Mr. Short, I may miss some of these questions coming down the comment section. So after Mr. Short, we finish with Mr. Short. If you guys can just start asking your questions then to make sure I don't miss them. Just don't forget to put a big question mark there, or put the word question there, or a big Q or something to let me see your question. As you imagine, I probably missed some of the questions off the front. If I do so, I ask you to forgive me for that. It's not intentional. I just ask you to be able to go back down and put your question in again, because I would like to get to your question. I would like to answer those. But I'm getting ready to bring Mr. Short on so we can talk about the things that we were doing tomorrow. Tomorrow's search, we'll be doing at searches at 6:45. That's the safety briefing. And, to make sure that, everybody's safe. One of the biggest parts for me, I tell people at the searches, tell Mr. Short in our meetings, is that we definitely want, and he feels the same way, and everybody who's in a part of the team feel the same way. We out there to make sure that everybody's safe, searching for my son in a safe manner. The one thing I don't want to happen is anything to happen in the volunteers, while you all out. I mean, I love my son. He's my son, and I'm doing everything I can. That's why I've been here for all these months, searching for my son. But I'm not willing to let any harm come to anybody who's trying to help me out there. And you have families. Your families love you too, and I love you. And definitely don't want anything to happen out there. So once you come to safety briefing, so we can have our safety briefings in the mornings before the search, and then we can talk and let you know information out there before we start the searches. We get to know each other and things like that. So I will be bringing Mr. Short on. If y'all can bear with me, thank you so much. I bring. Hello, everyone. I'm David Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing June 23rd out of Buckeye, Arizona. I came here to Arizona to find my son. Since that time, I have organized searches every Saturday. We're having another search this weekend, and we're asking everybody, anyone who can come out and help. I very much appreciate it if you can. Bring your 4x4s, bring your all-terrain vehicles. You have horses. You can even come search on foot. We need everybody. So if you're out there, you have any skills, if you want to help in any kind of way, please come out. I'm depending on you. I'm searching for my son. I need your help. Thank you. God bless you. Good morning, Mr. Short.
Good morning, sir.
How you feeling?
Doing good. Better than I deserve, probably. So.
Yeah. We know it's stay busy. It's a really busy time, and things just going that way for us.
Yeah, keep them busy.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you so much for being in this morning on this Q&A. I'll try to make sure we do that every Friday that you can. I just want to make sure that we talk to everybody, let everybody know how we do our searches, what we do, get familiarized with yourself and me, what we're doing. We also have other people that's part of the team out there that's doing a whole lot of hard work, to keep this thing going. So like I'm telling everybody, this is a grassroots type thing. You were one time someone that came out to the searches, and you and your wife, and started off from that point, and been here since, and I'm coordinating and doing logistics stuff. So I'm really grateful to have you out here this morning to talk to everybody here in the comment section, like I said, and let them know what we do. So I just want to start off, first of all, tell everybody about yourself, pretty much what part of that you do on the searches and things like that.
Yeah. Thank you for having me here, and good morning as well. We Leanne, my wife, originally back in, it was July, I think 19th, Josh Sanders, the reporter, he reported that the vehicle was found, and then there was a search going on. They needed people with 4x4s and people that could use radios and had experience hiking through the desert. And she looked at me and she's like, well, you kind of qualify for all of that. I was in the Army, I did communications and intelligence in the Army. And so I just showed up to help out. And then I noticed that there was a need to help kind of keep track of things, group people up. And then just so happened to be, I was like, all right, well, you 10 people go to this grid and you 10 people go to that grid. And you came up and you're like, hey, thanks for helping out. Can you? And I was like, well, I'll keep helping out, however I can, and it's been a pleasure since then. It's been a long, hot journey.
Yes, very hot.
Yeah, and it's starting to get toasty again. It's a little cooler right now, but it's supposed to warm up for this weekend. We've had large numbers. There was a time where it was like we had so many people there, I would just sit at my truck or the tent, which was like a makeup of a command center. We'd set the table up. We'd have water, snacks, to keep nutrition and stuff, medical bag, kind of just like a central base. As things fluctuate with, the volunteers that show up, we've adjusted every weekend, according to how things are. That's kind of the plan for this weekend as well. We always got plan A, B, and C, in our pockets, and we pull whatever card out we need and roll with it that day. So
that's right. And that's the whole point. This is a grassroots type deal. Just like Mr. Short said, we definitely started from, this whole search. When I decided to go find my son, I had to reach out to the community. Just like you said, Josh Sanders, Nicole Grigg, there was the first local news channel people that really helped out a whole lot, to get Daniel's story out there and to help promote the searches. When I wanted the searches started, get the searches out there for people to show up. Also had the previous search coordinator, was out putting out information to certain groups and things like that. So everything was definitely grassroots to get it going. And like you said, as we growing, unfortunately, in the worst circumstance you can think of for me anyway, and for I'm sure for a lot of people, is that we gotten a lot better as time had grown to know how to conduct the searches and things like that. So one of the things I wanted to point out before everything said and done is the safety briefings. We talk about just what you're saying about the weather changing. Of course, I had the time went back an hour. I almost want to go back another hour.
We probably can.
As the weather,
yeah, we're back out. I was like I was up early this yesterday, and I was like looking out the window, and I'm like, it's 5 o'clock, and it's already starting to get light out. I'm like,
that's right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we had to make sure that we kind of adjust to that. And I think when I first started the searches, we was doing it at 5:45 in the morning, getting up and getting out there early to try to get people out in the desert. Like you said, it's getting the sun coming up a lot earlier, and try to get people out before it gets toasty. Now I can tell you, the thing was that people were actually staying there a lot longer. We may have the searches up to 11, but people we was out there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, still out there searching, very dedicated. Of course, it was a different situation at the time. Daniel just went missing, and one of the biggest things that was in our minds is a rescue. Is a rescue mission. We had to go out there and find him. He could be trapped somewhere. There's a lot of mines out there. I was doing some research, and there's a lot of mines out there. That was in my mind all the time. The washes and stuff. One of the biggest thing that bothered me the most is doing the research about that desert was the water flowing through there really quickly after a flash flood type deal, going down the Hacienda River and the Wagner washes and things like that. How a person get covered up or dragged downstream somewhere.
Yeah.
So those things worried me the most. But at the same time, like I said, that was a rescue mission. Now we at a recovery at this stage, so things could slow down a lot more. But at the same time, unfortunately, things could slow down. We're more just definitely more concerned. I think right now is to get the line searches and things like that in areas probably some areas have been searched, but not searched in with the line searches and things like that. So that'll make it a whole lot better. So right now, it's the recovery stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point where you were saying that we're probably going to be searching. Well, we have 2 locations that this weekend that will be we would like to search. One of them is along the Sun Valley Parkway going north. It's an area that was that there was a hasty search conducted there towards the beginning. A lot of volunteers like Andrew and people like that did cover this area, but it wasn't a line search. It was a couple people searching a square kilometer for a couple hours. So it's it's not as thorough as we'd like. So we are going to stick along the Sun Valley Parkway, and this is a good thing because it's an area that we haven't done the line search in. It's north of where we had stopped a previous line search. And that's this is based off of one of the theories, anything along the side of the road, and hopefully we can get at least a quarter mile in would be nice. So we'll go up and we'll do that loop back around and then cover as much area as we can. So, and then the other area is west of Hacienda, just due to that the unusual. And last year, just to let you know, last year was an unusual rainy season, and that wash. It was like we couldn't. Well, we had to pull a couple vehicles out of the. I think it was the one of the first weekends we had that Tacoma, like flat out stuck, and we literally we had to call, and I was on a I was freaking out because I'm like. It was raining north, and then when it rains north, that brings more water down the wash. Now we have people stuck in the wash. Like this truck was stuck. We posted on Facebook on a AZ Jeep recovery page or something like it, and we had 2 Jeep guys come out hook up to the, into the truck, and it took 2 Jeeps to pull that thing out. In my mind, like, it's raining north, water's coming down, there's going to be another flash flood. It was the safety for those volunteers that was my biggest concern that weekend.
Right, and that's the reason why we had a safety briefing. I remember when that happened. One of the biggest things was the safety briefing. I remember that day we asked guys not to go in that wash, and they did it anyway. It had a little bit of water there, so that's one of the things. It was a restricted area at the time, and but I'm sure the gentleman thought he can get through there. And that wasn't passable. So that's the reason why we had the safety briefings in the past. And during that time, we also checked the weather report. There's been a few times that we had to cancel the searches out there because of the weather. And weather, like we know, we don't just check Buckeye, like you say, check upstream, some of these areas upstream to see if there's any storms and things like that, because the water do travel. It don't just stay at those areas. It do travel downstream. And it can be dry one moment, and then the water shows up. So that's one of the biggest part of the safety briefing. Safety briefing is there to keep everybody safe. And so we do ask the volunteers, if you come out, to make sure you're part of that safety briefing and to get that briefing, because, we're looking at every avenue that we can. We're not perfect. We're looking at every avenue that we can to make sure that everybody's safe. So that's one of the things. But like we said, the going out to search that area off the Hockensack River and things like that. It's a lot of places that I could think of right now that could be searched again or haven't been searched. But we do have some concerns about some areas that we talked about. But we definitely need to get this thing done. I really trying to see if I can get everybody who's been out there before in the past. The numbers used to be a lot bigger. A lot of people out there in the summer last year to help out, and we'd like to see those numbers again. But I understand people give all they can give. It's been 9 months now, going on 10 months since Daniel went missing. For me, it's an urgency to not leave my son on the ground. One of the biggest things is, to me, that we talked about in the meetings is that we did do some recovery there, and when I see that somebody else is remaining on the ground like that, it's not proper or even nice to leave someone there. So one thing in my mind is that I definitely want to see if my son is out there, which I'm praying he's not. I'll pray to God that this is a whole big waste of time. I really have my faith that this is a big waste of time in the desert. But because of the story, because of the only thing that we know at the moment, we had to assume that we had to cover that desert to make sure that he's not lying there on the ground somewhere. And, he need to be recovered and brought back home. So I just want to tell you, if there's anything else you want to share with everybody else about the searches, I want you to go ahead and do so, because I know we was definitely trying to get all the information we can out about the searches and get people to be a part.
Yeah, I would say the biggest part for the safety briefing, and anybody that's watching right now, and share with your friends that you've made out there as well. If we need to make sure that you guys are prepared. Most of you guys are well, actually, everybody that shows up, they have water and stuff like that. But like for Friday, like pre-hydrate, right? So drink a lot of water and a Gatorade the day before. Get those fluids in your body prior, so you're not dehydrated when you get out there. Take care of yourself. Make sure you have good shoes, good hiking shoes with ankle support. Just make sure that you're properly prepared out there. Most of the volunteers that show up have been out there a lot, and we all show up and we look at each other's gear, and then like, oh, that's cool, and then we go to the 511 store and buy, we or order something on Amazon. We always it's funny, we show up and we see how people have upgraded their equipment and their gear, and to the point is that there are no professional search and rescue people out there.
Right.
Like when I said earlier, it's like, I showed up and it was just because like I have a truck and I know how to use a radio. So and we've adapted and learned since then. Since then, we've, became a member of the National Association of Search and Rescue. I've gotten, manuals and books on like man tracking and search techniques and stuff like that. We've learned and grown, and like you said, like we've learned how to do this better.
Right.
And so we've put that time and the effort into learning how to do this, but we're not professional search. I've spoken with professional search and rescue people. I've spoken with the sheriff's posse, and several other organizations we both have. And but we make it up as we go. And we're, unfortunately, like we've said, unfortunately, we're getting better at this. But we have been, and I think this is one of the blessings that I've had, and David, you as well. We've been able to share this knowledge with other search groups. Even just recently, I was the other day posting online to other ATV groups and off-road groups. I had somebody reach out to me. He's like, "Hey, I've had a friend missing, and there hasn't been searches. I'd like to get some information on how to conduct searches." So I am sharing what we've learned with those groups and how to build a group and how to keep track of where everybody goes searching and stuff like that. There was just a case up in Northern California where a young lady went missing, Naomi, and we were able to reach out to the family and have a brief discussion and just share support and just some different techniques and good information on how to use people that show up, and then be wary of certain people that show up, different type things. And that's a blessing, that was great to be able to share our experience with other groups. And I think that's definitely the spirit of the foundation that you're starting up, to be able to share this information and experience with other people that don't have those resources.
That's right.
There's certain demographics that don't immediately receive resources and stuff like that. And I think it's a great thing that you're doing. So to digress and go back to the search, being prepared when we go out there, just for the fact that we aren't the professionals, but try to be as prepared as you can, take care of yourself, and also keep an eye on the people to your left and your right. Make sure that they're doing okay. So just like on an airplane, when they say the oxygen is going to come down, you put your mask on first, you take care of yourself first, and then you can help the other people around you. Keep an eye on your search buddy. Right. Because we have seen time and time again where that is required. Was it 2-3 weeks ago now? We had a young lady. She was out there and she wasn't feeling good. And then fortunately, we had volunteers, and she said something properly, and because it was hot, it was
yes,
like no fault on her. It was starting to get toasty, and she did the right thing. She's like, "I'm not feeling good," and then we had everybody just got right there and took care of her, and so that worked. We could have used some additional resources to be able to, side by side, and but we made it happen.
Definitely, we definitely family out there. That's one of the biggest things too. People we've grown to, also some people who's there every time, every week. Really dedicated out there. Even the people who came from day one, very dedicated people. They gave all they can give at the time. From that point on, all the way up to advance, we become family. Everybody working together for one common cause. I see you all at those mornings of the searches, and be able to talk to you all and give my spiel after the safety briefing. It's very beautiful to see people out there who's willing to help. To me, from my standpoint as a father who's out here from South Carolina, to see people that just standing there, taking their Saturdays out, say, hey, you know what? I'm going up there to help Mr. Robinson find his son. They put themselves in my shoes, showing that kind of empathy for my family. And that always gets me every time. It gets me every time just to see, especially we see the new hands of people. Sometimes the new folks be is more than the people, the regulars, the regular for us that's out there. And it just amazes me every time when people do show up. And so like I say, take their time out. Just, hey, you know what? I'm giving up my Saturday to be out here with Mr. Robinson and everybody to search for his son. But when I'm saying again, that's what safety briefing is for. Again, I want to repeat that. I'm not willing that anything happen to any volunteer out there just to find my son. As much as I want Daniel back home with his family and with us, one way or the other. When I say one way or the other, the obvious what I'm saying is just that I'm not willing to have anybody harmed in doing so. I'm really grateful for everybody who does that. Like I said, some people come with different skill sets. We have one that's there now, Tina, who's has some kind of medical background. You have some people there who do have a little bit of search and rescue type backgrounds that used to come out and things like that. So sometimes you never know what you get. Like you said, like we said before, it's a grassroots type deal. We put out the calling, people show up, they bring their experiences with them. Some, it's all walks of life. We even have people who's a nurse or, like I said, or somebody who may be technical like yourself, out there, but they just come out. Really grateful for everybody who does. But like I said, the safety brief is the biggest part, the main part for me, to make sure that people get some safety briefing, get that water in, don't just drink the water, get your electrolytes in along with that. That's the reason why we have the snacks there and things like that to make sure that everybody's covered. So thank you again, Mr. Short.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yes, thank you again. What I want to do is, if you can, of course, do this again every Friday. We may, of course, we're not having the search next next Saturday, but we're having one tomorrow. And, and also I want to tell you, I don't say Easter, I say Passover, but happy Passover to you.
Thank you,
and to you and your family. And thank you so much for all your hard work. Tell your wife I said hello, good morning to her. Thank you, you both for your dedication. She does a lot too. But she's that silent person that's there. She's silent, but she make a big present, so she does a lot. So I'm really grateful for both of you all, both of you for everything you do, even your son when he comes out. So thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir.
We'll see you then. See you tomorrow.
Absolutely. See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. That was Mr. Short. And, I'm really grateful that he came on this morning to be part of the Q&A. We will be having that search on tomorrow, 6:45. Mr. Short will be giving the safety briefing and some of the information that you need to for conducting the searches. I will be there to give my spiel. When I say give my spiel, I like to tell everybody, saying everything that I think of you all for coming out, also kind of echo and back up that safety briefing and things like that. So at this point, you guys, I have brought the searches down to once every 2 weeks, and those reasons were and are because first it was the finances, but it also kind of and God have things happen in a reason in a way to help out in multiple reasons, and one of those reasons also is to be able to give a person like Mr. Short and his wife time off. Those two have been to every search. I can't remember even one search they missed since they signed on to be part of the team, be a coordinator. He started off as a logistics coordinator. I had a separate search coordinator. Since then, once that spot opened up, Mr. Short took on that responsibility also. So on the two is a two-man team. It's just myself and Mr. Short. And then also we have other people, his wife, of course, and that's help out a lot of other people there. They help out. So hopefully we have those people on eventually in the future. more people will show up. There. Elaine is one of them. I'm sure she don't mind me mentioning her name, but she's out there also working beside us. And like we said, Tina also, work with us on that team to keep everybody safe and things like that, and keep everybody knowing what we need to have done out there. So thank you all for listening in with Mr. Short. And like I said, he'll be here again on Fridays. If not next Friday, the week of the search on that Friday. But, there may be a little change in that. So I'll let that, we'll talk about that coming up, because, everybody, I will be in Vegas doing the Crime Con convention there. And that's on the 29th of this month to May 1st. So that will be on the search weekend. And so Mr. Short, he may, if we have that search that Saturday, he will be there for that search. So thank you all again. I do have a question here. Thank you, Barry, for your question. If you all have any more questions, please put a big question mark like Barry did here, or put the word question there, big capital letter question there, or big capital letter Q, something that can help me see your questions come down the comment section. I have started from this point. So if there's any questions and things like that, that's above Barry's question, I'm sure I'm going to miss those. So feel free to please ask those questions again. I do have some time here to do this Q&A, to finish up this Q&A. So if you get those questions in, I really appreciate it. I really would like to answer your questions and things like that. I do in the future, like I said, want to bring on family members who have missing loved ones also, and let them be able to come in and tell their stories on this Q&A. So y'all look forward to that. I'm reaching out to a lot of families to be able to tell their stories. So look forward to that on this channel also, because like I said, this thing is bigger than me and my family. There's a lot of missing people out there that need help. This family been going through, my family, we've gone through a lot just to get the law enforcement's help. In my son's case, in my situation, I know what it feels like, trying to figure out what you're going to do, how you're going to go find your son. What can I do to go find my son? How can I help the law enforcement to do so? So don't think I wasn't willing and working with the law enforcement. I was working with law enforcement. I felt like they turned their back on me once I hired my investigator, because I didn't agree with their assessment of the scene where my son went missing. It didn't set right with me. Got my own private investigator. And when he got the evidence that they gave him, gave the evidence together, he read it to them, back to them what they gave to him, and also the other information that came from the vehicle, like the red transfer paint, the damaged vehicle. He's an accident reconstructionist, to finding the sock near the well site, to the mileage on the vehicle, things like that. When they got all that hard evidence, real evidence, that's when they shut down on me, and that's when the relationship between myself and that department went sour. So it's not that I haven't been working with that department. I tried my best, but they've been working hard, in my opinion, to keep their narrative going instead of looking at what we found and dig deeper into that. So again, I'm here to answer your questions. That's what the Q&A is for, and also to bring awareness to my son. But like I said, I have to help other families. That's the reason why we have a team, Barry, and some others out there. We have a team that's going to help get this foundation off the ground. So thank you all for being here. I have a question here from Barry. The worker said he saw Daniel drive off. Did he say he watched him drive off into the desert until his truck disappeared? How long did he watch him drive off? No, I didn't get an indication of how long he watched him drive off, but he did see him drive off. He did tell me that he saw Daniel drive off towards, and what he told me is the only reason why he know he went out west, because he followed those tracks, and those tracks, when he got to the T-junction, he saw the track go left instead of right. And those who out there in the desert, they know what I'm talking about. You come from that well site, you go come out the well site, you go down southward towards the T-junction where you came into that well site. Once you get that T-junction, the left turn will take you back to Sun Valley Parkway, and then the right will take you to this gate that will lead you to the area, what we call the quarry, but it's a water retention area. It'll take you down towards that area where Daniel's vehicle eventually was found. So the ironicity to the whole story is that if you listen to the story, and I'm planning to do that tomorrow, we'll do a drive-through and do a live and also record it this time for you all to see what I'm saying. The drive from that well site to make that turn, that right turn at that T junction, and if you follow his story, it'll tell you exactly what he did. He did come to that gate. He had to go through this gate and drive another mile. So before he got out of his vehicle, and he walked some, and then he got up on this hill. And the ironic, on the hill that is there is the hill to get to where James' vehicle was found. So he got up on the hill and looked over the hill and looked around, and then he started marking this area with red paint, on rocks or whatever. So the officer can know where to look for these tracks or whatever, things like that. So if you listen to the story itself, that would lead you directly to the area where the vehicle was found. So, anyway, the worker, you said he saw Daniel drive off. He did. He mentioned that. Did he say he watched him drive off until into the desert? Until he disappeared. I don't know how long he watched, but like I said, he said he did mention that he drove off, from him. So, yes, he did watch Daniel drive off. But as in the other part, if he, how long ago, how he did it, no, I don't know. He didn't mention that part to his truck disappeared. So if you leave that well site, the only way, which gets me, is that well site that they say Daniel was last seen. When you leave that site, you have to go down this little trail before you get to that other dirt road that leads to the T junction. So you kind of leave that well site, it's a bit circle area. You drive down a small little area, trail or whatever you could call it, and then you come to that T junction and you go south. All right, and then that south, let's say you go down there like almost 2 miles, and then you come to that T junction where you have to make a left or right. So how he would have been able to see it from there, I can tell you the weird part of that part to me is, back then, you guys see that well site from the Dateline thing I just put up there. It's wide open. You see all that space wide open and things like that. It wasn't like that when I first saw that well site. When I first came to that well site, all that area was closed in closely. The brush is a lot closer to that well site. They just recently tore that open for whatever reason to get more space in, I guess, around that well, because they decided, I guess, to start get ready to use it or something. But other than that, it was very close. That kind of gave me the puzzle. He's saying Daniel was staring off in the desert, like staring off to what? Staring off to this brush. It's really dense in that area because of the Hassayampa River that's running close to the Wagner Wash that runs really close to it. So I'm sure that vegetation around that area get a lot of water. Thank you for your question, Barry. Also, for ever curious, have a question. The coworker did he state Daniel made reference to needing rest, perhaps a polite way of indicating the need for a toilet break rather than an indication for being tired? Well, yeah, that was part of this guy's statement that Daniel somehow was talking about he needed rest. He was acting odd. This guy he's a well guy. He's as far as I don't know his resume. Before what I understand, just looking at his LinkedIn or something, he's a well guy. That's what he does. I haven't seen anything medical. He's a psychologist or anything in his resume. But he said that a couple of things he said. He kind of relate that Daniel said he wanted to go rest. He's tired and he wanted to go rest to him looking at his eyes and saying he acting strange and odd to the point that I had to look in his eyes to see his eyes dilated or something. I couldn't imagine my son sitting there still and let some man look in his eyes. First of all, look in his eyes to see if his eyes dilated or something. I couldn't see that happening. But this is the story that this guy have. So as in and him needing rest, like I told you guys before, just getting the information I had, and this one thing I did release to the public is that according to his movements, it indicates that Daniel was working. Daniel do Instacart. He does Instacart to make extra money to pay his bills because, like I told you before, that company required him to give them a expense report. And when Daniel had to spend the money wherever he go to these well sites and things like that, they reimburse him through an expense report. And sometimes that can cause him to be late on his billing. So he do the Instacart. So this is a responsible young man working at night to do an Instacart, and they had to get up early in the morning, not go to one website, but go to two. He was tired. I mean, I'll be tired. I'll be like, dang, why I got to come to this job today? I'm tired today. I need some rest. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm tired and get, but they made a big old thing about it to make it sound more, nefarious, like something going on with Daniel because he said he need rest. I mean, what's wrong with saying you need rest? I mean, I need rest. I've been up all the time. I can tell you right now, you guys, I need some rest, and I've been up a lot. That don't mean something's wrong with me because I say that, and I really do. But anyway, for that question right there, forever curious, yes, he did say that Daniel indicated that he needed rest, as in the bathroom break. I'm not sure. Out there in the desert, sometimes you have to do that. July 19th is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Rod the Creator. If I don't get to say it, but thank you so much for being out here. Happy birthday to you. And thank you, Lois Strickland, for being here this morning. Again, from North Carolina. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button for the channel to keep it growing. I really appreciate it. You guys got me up to 1,000 subscribers, and that's amazing. I really appreciate that for you all making that possible. Also, let's say Queen 954, Queen P, thank you so much for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming in on this Q&A. If you guys have any questions, please don't forget to hit that, put a big question mark there, followed by your question. That would help out a lot, to get these, for me going down the comment section to get your questions. So I don't want to miss anything. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kimberly, again for being here. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Valerie. Well, I don't know if that's a question, but thank you, Valerie, for being here. Valerie Kuna, thank you so much for being here. You said, should others show up to the city council meeting to show support? Yeah, I would like anybody who want to come out to Tuesday for the city council, please come out and show your support. It's funny. I have just 1,000 subscribers, for instance. I have almost 150,000 signatures, right? And that each one of those things to me are people. It's not numbers. I say these numbers, but you all are people. You're human beings who have a concern about what happened to my son, and you're here. You're here on this Q&A to whatever way you're supporting. But I'm here in Arizona since June the 26th, searching for my son. I made it public. It was no secret. This thing is it went on news to, like I say, all this national type stuff to whatever. And I've been here since, right? And not one time did the mayor of Buckeye, again, I'm going to say this over again, the mayor of Buckeye, the city managers, to whoever in that city, the chief of police. I'll talk to him only probably twice, rarely ever hear from the guy. And what I'm saying is not even acknowledge that I'm here. You bring in reporters to your police station. I'm bringing attention from people calling the department, asking them to do their job. To now, I'm asking people to tell them to bring in the FBI into this case, to turn the generals off or something, because the confidence level of that department is gone for me. But the whole point is, I'm here on the ground, and not one time did they act like I'm not here. That's what I'm saying. So the city, this whole thing is a very important. Tuesday is to make a statement. I'm here. It's no way you can ignore me and pretend like Mr. Robinson is not on this ground looking for his son in your city. You notice your citizens out there coming out there to the searches. I'm not doing those searches out there by myself. These are people that live in Buckeye coming out there, people that live in Phoenix, people that live in California. I mean, there's people come from all over the place coming out to those searches. So you can't pretend that I'm not out there. And not only that, my searchers have recovered remains of other humans out there. So, you can't pretend and try to wash me away some type of way. It's not going to happen. So I want them to know and acknowledge that I'm there. I'm there in their city doing this thing and trying to find my son. So, it stuns me. And I'm not going to sit there and let that happen either. I'm just a different kind of guy. I think a lot of people are aware of that at this point. I'm just not that kind of, and I'm not saying it against any father. I think any father would do what I do. I'm just not that kind of father that's going to sit on my hands and not go out here and look for my son when he need me. So the thing is, I think any father would do that, in my opinion. I mean, I had no one in particular that probably wouldn't. And he ain't so much even asked about his grandson. But you know what? There are some men out there, and a lot of us, that would. So I can't say totally that every father would do X, Y, Z. But I can say that this father and many others that we just don't know will be doing the same exact thing. So thank you all. Thank you, Kimberly, for everything, for you asking that about the city council. Valerie Acuna, again, like I said, thank you for being here. Thank you, Shauna, for being here. Thank you so much for everything you do in the background. Thank you also, So Fresh Smells. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I said your name before, and I know you don't mind that, but thank you so much for being here. Also, thank you, Carrie Snyder, for being here. Thank you, Gwen, for being here this morning, putting up the tip line information there. And you can remain anonymous. Tip line is on the bottom of the screen right there, strolling down right across the screen there. If you want to use that tip line. There's some tips coming across the comment sections. I don't get those until people make me aware. Some things that goes on in tip on the comment sections that I don't have the time to go through comment sessions other than what I'm doing now. That's why I ask you guys, if you can, put the word question there or whatever to get my alert to let me know you're asking a question. I'm really extremely busy. I don't have time out in my day to go through the comments that much. The team and people around me, they do it for me, and they'll tell me what's going on and things like that. So, but yeah, if you have a tip and things like that, please, use the tip line. The tip line is very important for tips. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I get on the comment section is that I see when I go down the comment sessions and stuff like that would be, hey, Mr. Robinson, how you doing? Praying for you and your family, things like that. So I do get those kind of comments a lot when I do kind of briefly go through comment section, but I'm not so extensive through those comment section where I see tips or tips. So if you guys have tips, please use the tip line or use the 8803 number that I have also that's strolling on the bottom right now of the screen. Use that number to give me those kind of tips. You want to leave it in text message, that's fine. Even though I can tell you it takes a while for me to get through all these tests, but I will get to it. But if you do it in the comment section, it's possible that I'm going to miss it because I don't really have time, like I said, to really go down through every comment to try to get through and find a tip. Only thing I mostly see is things I kind of skim through. Hey, Mr. Robinson, thank you for fighting for your son, or whatever the case may be. People want to say, I'm praying for you and your family, things like that. I do see those, and I'm really grateful for everybody who comment in these comment sections. All right, thank you, D-Love, for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see, who is this? Lil G. Thank you for being here this morning. You're new on this page. Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate that. And you just taking time out this morning to do so. You'll be praying for me. Thank you so much. Daniel and the investigators, thank you so much. They would, my investigator, he would appreciate that. I'm only one person, but I would share his story, and that's what all I ask. And thank you so much. Please do that. Sharing, like I said, word of mouth is bigger than anything. So whenever you share, that helps out a whole lot. So thank you so much. Word of mouth is everything. Okay, I'm trying to go down this comment section. If you guys have any questions, please ask your questions. Thank you for being here, Nikki O'Shea. Thank you for being here, Tanya M. Thank you for being here. Again, Mr. Short, thank you for coming on earlier. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you tomorrow morning. I will. Thank you, AP, for being here this morning. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you for your comment too. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Nikki. Thank you, D-Love, again for being here this morning. Thank you, long and short sentences. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Thanks so much for your comment. If y'all can, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. That really helps out with the channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you again, Tanya M, for being here this morning, and thank you for your prayers, and I really appreciate it. Yes, thank you, and God bless you for that. Thank you, Lolo, for being here this morning. Again, if y'all can, please continue to share Daniel's story. That definitely will help us out, getting everything that we're trying to do here. Keep Daniel's name out there, and also along with getting, because that causes pressure on the law enforcement to do something. So don't think that we're not working some things in the background. Some places I'm going now, even today, places I have to go to try to still push these law enforcement agencies to do something on the behalf, because like I said, I need them to come into this case at this point. So thank you, RQ, for being here this morning. Thank you, Free to Be. Thank you for being here. And I really thank you for listening in and coming in this morning. And God had brought you here, and I really appreciate it. And I wish God blesses upon you as well. So thank you so much for sharing your time to come out here and be a part of this Q&A. Alex, thank you, Alex, B23, thank you for being here. And yes, if you can, everybody, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Dimps, for being here. God bless you too. And I pray that too. God will give me the answers that I need. I do have a question here from AP. Thank you, AP, for asking your question. I am disabled RNN on a budget, but I have truly fallen in love with you and your beautiful family. I live in Florida. Other than my daily prayers, is there anything that I can do to help? Yes, just share the story and continue to pray. And I really are grateful for what you're doing there in Florida. And that's amazing, because you know what? That's very important. Is getting those prayers and get those for prayers for me and my family, but getting those the word about Daniel out there, because I tend to always think that maybe the person who knows something may be living in Florida now. You never know. So you're out there, AP, and you may be at a restaurant or somewhere, and you're sharing Darren's story. That's the reason why, if you have ability, if you want to get flyers, I can send flyers out to you. Or also, you could go on the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and there's a PDF there for you to be able to make those flyers and pass them out. The flyers, I do ask again, the flyers I hope to be about the size of here, size of a postcard. It also has a QR code on there, and the QR code, like I said, AP, in the back is the reward. But the QR code is there. For instance, if you get those flyers out there in Florida, and you're sharing that story, somebody got in your pocketbook or whatever, your pocket, and that's the reason why it's need to be about that size there. That helps out, and you run and say, hey, look, I will share the story with you. You can pull that out. You got a QR code there. They can use the QR code for their phone and take that with them and share the story to somebody else. So word of mouth is very important, and it helps. That helps out a lot. So just like you heard about Dane's story from Florida, it took somebody. I don't know if it's from one of the networks to word of mouth, but that's very important. So thanks so much for bringing that up. Thank you, Elaine, for being here. I just was speaking about you. Thank you so much for helping out the searches. You also working aside me and Mr. Short to help out in those searches. So everybody who come out to the searches, Elaine here is a person who would definitely, she does help us with the line search, to keep those line searches and straight and things like that. And very, very good. Her and Eggsy, her dog, her puppy, is our go out there and help. So thank you, Elaine, for everything you do in terms of the searches and everything else that you do. I really appreciate you. God bless you. Also, Tanya Beth, for being here this morning. Thank you, Color Light, for being here this morning. And thank you so much for your hopes and prayers for that. I really appreciate that. I need all that positive energy that I can get. So thank you, Color Light. Thanks so much. Also, don't forget that tip line again, everybody. If you want to, remain anonymous, you can do that. If you just want to talk to anybody, you can also just text the word tip to that that phone number there, and you can still remain anonymous. So either way you like to do it, you don't have to speak to a live operator. You can just text the word tip. That would help also. So either way, like I said, you want to do it. Thank you for tips. I need all the tips I can get. Please don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe. That again, that's helping this algorithm and getting the story out. So thank you. All right. I was going to put on some information there. It's almost time for this Q&A to end. Have a couple things I have to do today, of course. So we're always going to be busy, doing everything I can to help find Daniel. And thank you, Batia, for being here this morning. I really appreciate all the hard work you've been doing. God bless you, too. And I won't give up. You're right. Y'all is going to lead me to everything I need to find. And I'm really grateful for all the things that you have done to help me get some answers and things like that. So thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. Good to see you again coming out from Facebook. I really appreciate you doing that. So thank you so much. God bless you too. Again, please continue to share Daniel's story. I really appreciate it, guys. If you can, thank you. Sima Turner, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. And you're not in the U.S., but I really appreciate you coming out here to be a part of this Q&A. So thank you. Thank you for spending time. RQ, thank you for being here. If you guys have any more questions, please hit the, like I said, put a question mark there. Put a big capital letter, all caps of question there before you question, or a big capital letter Q. That will help me find it as I'm coming down the comment section. I'm trying to get down to the end of the comment section to catch up with the comment section, because I am getting close to the end of this Q&A, and I want to get your questions. If you have them, thank you. Who's this? Rasta Ferry. Big hugs to you. And also, thank you so much for being here this morning. Let's see who I've got. Tub 883. I believe I know you here a lot, so thank you so much. Oh, you're not late. You're here on time. You're here on time. I'm still here. Thank you so much for being here. Long and short sentences again. Thank you for being here. I think I do have a question here from Rob, the creator. Question: can we give a location where we believe should be searched? Can we give a yes? Well, that's the reason why Mr. Short was on just a while ago. There are some areas that we're going to have searched tomorrow, and that's near the. We're trying to get people out on the west of the Hassayampa River area. One of the things we have problems with is the logistics part of it, because there is a river. Just because you hear the word river in Arizona, I learned that a long time ago, don't mean it actually have water. So these rivers don't have water this time of the year. Just dry river bottoms. We'd ride in them and search them and all that kind of stuff. But it is coming to a time of the year where there will be rain in certain areas up north, northern areas of Arizona, and that water come flowing down to those rivers. So, and that's when it's wet. So, but right now we do want to get on the other side of the Hassayampa River area, but we do have vehicles like the side-by-sides and 4x4 type vehicles, quads and things like that that do go over there to do some searching. But we're trying to get some line search. Line searches are the ones. It's kind of search. Line searches and we call hasty search are the type of searches that we actually found human remains and things like that out there. Cell phone, for instance, things like that we find based on those type searches. The beautiful part about the side by sides and things like that is to be able to still search. You still can look on the ground, but it's not as thorough. You may end up missing something. So it's better when you're actually on foot and searching a certain grid at a certain time. So that's the reason why. But yeah, we definitely gonna be doing that, and also searching the area that's north of a location we did before. So there are some locations out there that he was talking about earlier that we will be searching. So yes, and thank you for mentioning that too, Elaine. And you're right. We have been thanking Evan and Leanne for everything they do out there, and yourself, and Tina and everybody. So Andrew and some of the other folks that's out there every week, and I can name you all, be out there every week that's helping out. So thank you. All right, we have Barbara Kennedy from South Carolina. Thank you for reaching out from Charleston, South Carolina. Of course, everybody know Daniel went to the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. His siblings, his twin sisters, they went to the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. So very nice place down there. The school itself is excellent. But I do have a question here from D Love. Thank you, D Love, for your question. Mr. Robinson was the co-worker who was at the site with Daniel, able to give a description of what Daniel was wearing. Only thing he mentioned was the safety vest to me. Now, I don't know what he said to the law enforcement or my investigator at the time. Only thing he had was he mentioned about the safety vest. He was wearing the safety vest, and then he said his boots. He mentioned his boots. as in his jeans or a shirt that we found the scene. I don't know. He didn't mention those things. So that's all I got from him. That's all I think I've read in somewhere in the report. So, but that's it. Thank you so much for your question. I do have a question from T and Wildflowers, the coworker who said he painted the rocks with red paint. Ever show anyone what paint he used? Daniel's vehicle also had red paint. Yeah, sometimes you kind of want to try to relate those two things together, and I have, of course, I'm always going to look at that and try to relate how red transfer paint got on my son's vehicle, right, and where it came from. But I can say that he did say that. To this date, we've been out there in the desert. I have never seen any rocks or out there with some red paint on it. I don't know if he did it and then he later picked them back up. I don't know, but he did tell me that. So, and also those relations, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he painted and how, if it had relations to Dane's vehicle with the red transfer paint. We are trying to figure that part out. But no, as far as I know, like I told you all before, I'm still waiting on a full report from my former investigator to all the stuff that he did do. I don't have that. I'm still looking for it. Asking him for it. But whenever that happens, then I have some of those answers to that type deal. If that even happened or not, I'm not sure how that was looked into when this guy's what type of paint he used, red paint he used, or where it came from, and things like that. I wouldn't know those answers to that right now, but that's something that definitely need to be more so looked into also. And I'm sure at this point, it's probably one of those harder things to do. But thank you for your question. RQ, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ken, Sima Turner. Thank you for being here this morning. And let's see who else I got here. Let's see. I don't see any more people here that I haven't spoke to yet. Rodder Creator again, thank you for being here. Toto 83 again, thank you for being here. Let's see here. You guys, thank you for being here this morning. I think I'm running out of time and also running out of questions. For all the information on upcoming searches, to sign up as a volunteer, how you can help, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Thank you, Gwen, for putting that up there. Please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You get all the information you need, everything you need to know about what happened to Daniel, what I'm doing, the efforts I'm doing, how you can help, and things like that. Everything on Please Help Find Daniel. And thank you, Sophia, for putting that up again. Sophia, thank you for being putting that up for me. The fasting and prayer that's coming up on April the 20th. If you guys can please, this Wednesday coming, be a part of the fasting and prayer. Some miracles happen. Last time we did this. Like I said, it was very hard to try to remain here, for instance, or as you see how the searches have gone down to just once every 2 weeks, and also the fact that I'm sitting there trying to get all this forensic stuff done. So some little things happen. God bless in certain ways, in certain areas. I know He's going to constantly keep blessing. But like I said, the fasting and prayer helps all of us. It helps us, everybody who have some interest in my son's case and that we're believers. And we know that God can put me in the right place at the right time. Whatever happened in the dark, come out to the light, and we fast and pray together, and come together and do that, and we can see things happen. Not only for people who are believers, but people who are non-believers too, because you're doing something with somebody, you come into unity, and you're doing things together. That says a lot about your character, first of all. The other part is the fasting part is to help you. Like I said, you're just doing this together. We're doing it in faith, and I'm believing that just doing things together, believing that something good is gonna come out of that. I believe in that. I believe in the energies and things that we create will bring those positive events to happen. So if you guys can please join in on Wednesday, I really appreciate it. Be a part of this fast and prayer on the 20th. So thank you so much. We'll be talking about that more. I'll be talking about that more coming up to Monday's Q&A. and also some other little videos I may be putting together. Thank you, She Rose Nation, for being here again this morning. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. From Maine. Thank you for coming out, being a part of this Q&A. Let me see who else I got here. I do have a question here from Cassidy. Thank you for your question. I really appreciate that. Question is it without a doubt that his Jeep was not in the area it was eventually found when first search were done? If so, I'm confused how police didn't find that suspicious. And I that's the biggest part. And I'm surprised. I'm suspicious of why. Well, I worry why the police department didn't even put it in a report. When I say they'll say, hey, a rancher found the vehicle, but they will not put a statement in there. To make sure that people understand that vehicle was not there. 2 to 3 days prior to it getting there on the 19th. That's according to, if you're going to believe a man's statement at a well site to say blah, 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 XYZ, and then you go to some workers now, and I can't tell you about those workers too. Those workers, when I talked to these meetings with with that company, they clearly told me in this conference room that they rarely ever even see Daniel, barely see Daniel. They say all the field geologists they have rarely come into office. Only thing they do is come through his back door, drop the little samples off, and they're gone. They rarely even see them in the office. They don't see their faces. They say, I haven't seen Daniel in a long time. So however they get this report on the report, the coworkers say he was acting odd and strange. And I'm like, well, what coworkers are you talking to? Because they haven't even been seeing him. They told me that. I'm trying to figure that part out. And then also, like I said, go back to what you're saying is, they put the guy's report in and say, hey, they just took a story verbatim and put in their report. They take a young lady's statement about a cell phone and let her upload her own things up into the report the way she wanted, wherever condition or wherever she sent it in, she sent it in that way. They put that in the report. For some reason, I don't think they're gonna mention about that rancher who found my son's vehicle is that he found it. I think that was in the report if I'm not mistaken, but they would not put his testimony in there the way he said, hey, this vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior. I'm telling you, I was there. I came through here, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't here. And this is the reason why. He went through a whole statement of reasons why. But you won't find that in the report because they want to make that narrative. No, Daniel crashed that vehicle. According to them, it must have been there for 30 days. But it still throws off of what they're saying. They say, hey, we did this extensive search of the area with the Civil Air Patrol. The first, when they finally see that helicopter, that so-called Phoenix Airbird, they did a extensive search. And then, like I was saying, each of those searches, they didn't come up with a construction cone, nothing. Oh, we can't find nothing at all. So, and they have the technology. I was on the ground already looking at around the well site, looking for my son, searching that desert, scrubbing that desert, looking for my son. If I'd known that area where my son's vehicle was eventually found, I wish I would have went over that area. If I'd known about the area, went over that area before that vehicle was found and found the vehicle. It was there when I got there. That'd have been different. But we didn't get to go over there. But Civil Air Patrol, so-called, supposedly had searched that area. Buckeye, so-called, with his Phoenix Airbird, supposedly had searched that area, and they didn't. That vehicle wasn't there. Even by their own information about they ain't found nothing says the vehicle wasn't there. And then the reason why they took around and they came out and said in the report to the reporters that, the area is so thick and the brush is so high, we could have missed it. Like, come on, y'all. You see how many pictures I show, even wish I had the banner behind me. You can look at the banner where the vehicle was found. I can promise you guys, the brush only come up to my chin. You have some that maybe tall little tree here and there, but the area where he was at is wide open. I took my drone up there. Many people take our drones, even look at their footage from their drone, and you can look at that. There's no brush around that area for them to have missed that vehicle if they really was out there looking for that vehicle. So the thing is, that is a bunch of excuses and just to cover themselves up because they didn't. I don't really believe they did the search. You know what I'm saying? I'm really still trying to prove that point. So, but the thing is, as in that, yeah, I don't really feel that they really did the searches that they claim they did. So I can tell you, I don't know why they want to put certain things in that report. That always stuns me. And that's the reason why, like I said, I lost a lot of confidence. And that's the reason why the Attorney General and the FBI and people like that need to be looking into this case to find out what's really going on and to find out what's happening to my son. And the reason why some of these things wasn't, like you said, the Jeep, you know, why you didn't find it if you so-called did all these searches. And also after the vehicle's found, why you didn't find that human skull that was that we found in our searches near that crash area. Why you didn't find that with all these cadaver dogs that find things like that and search dogs that you had out there, and you didn't find anything. No, we didn't find nothing. We didn't even find a footprint, they told me, on the ground. No tire track, nothing. We didn't find nothing. But we found some. It's a lot I could talk about. But anyway, whole thing, thank you so much for your question. Thank you, Gwen, again, for putting like, share, subscribe, you guys. Please do that. Thank you, Aaron, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you, Duchess and Discussions. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate that, you being here. I do have a question from Elaine. Thank you, Elaine. Are we going to be doing door hangers in Buckeye? We looked into that, Elaine. That would be a good idea. Hopefully that would happen. We looked into that. One company do not some reason do it into Buckeye, but they do it everywhere else. But the ones in Buckeye, we're still trying to figure out someone who's going to be able to do that. From what I understand, I'm not sure you're in that area, so you know better. But some of those neighborhoods, I guess, is kind of far out from each other. So I don't know. When I go to Buckeye, I don't see everything kind of condensed together. So maybe I'm just going in the wrong places. But yes, that's one of the things we consider, and we're still working on. That's some things I think we talked about in the meetings and stuff like that. Yeah, we're definitely trying to make sure those door hangers out there for the Buckeye area, go to door. And one of the other things that was given to me is also the mailing. Get some find a way. Which I'm going to the post office today to try to figure out, how you get those. I call them junk mail. People don't like when I say that. Oh, you get a junk mail, and I don't want to say it that way because I hope people don't look at what I want to put in that as junk mail. But you get all the advertisements. That's what I want to say. And there should be a way that I'll be able to put Daniel's his flyer type paper on an advertisement form and have it go to these residents, like you say, from the post office in Buckeye and everywhere else here in Arizona. So I'm planning to do that. Talk to the post office today, see how I can get those the information. Just make a sheet almost similar to this, like I told you, similar to this, but it'll be on that's the only time it'll be on like a notebook paper type size type deal, and be able to send that out to people's homes. Make awareness about Daniel. So it's all kind of ways that's thought of how to help. One of the ladies here, suggested that. So I'm really grateful for you also, Elaine, for bringing up that question. All right. Don't forget, you all about the tip line and everything. If you guys have tips, please use that. Also, thank you, Aaron, again, Chase, for being here. I really appreciate you coming out this morning. Angelica Kale, thank you for being here. Cole, thank you for being here this morning. Good morning to you also. Let's see here. I got anybody else here? Don, thank you for being here. I saw your name there. I just passed by. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming out. I do have a question again here. Are you to appear on Dr. Phil? Thank you, Aaron, for that. I reached out to Dr. Phil, try to get it on to talk to him. They didn't get back to me other than he requested for me to be on the Crime Con thing. So yeah, I hope to see him there. See him there at the Crime Con. I do have my team that would be there talking to his people and try to see if I could do. I do have an interview with SS Hollywood that will be doing an interview with me there again. They did one in the past, but they will be doing that again at the Crime Con event. And also hopefully Dr. Phil and some of the others. I definitely want to get into John Wash to pick his brain of better searching for my son. He'd been through a tragedy himself. So a lot of people that I would meet there would be helpful, be very helpful to what I'm trying to do here. So yes, hopefully I can be. I will see. I don't know the answer to that one yet, but I definitely will be talking to his people. My people talking to his people when we're at the crime con. So, all right. Thank you for Gwen for putting that up. Don't forget about the fast and prayer on the 20th. You guys can do that. I really appreciate it. No, and don't forget, just like Nikki did. Thank you, Nikki, for putting that up. The hashtag for the fast and prayer is that fast and prayer for Daniel. Hashtag fast and prayer for Daniel. Just the exact way that she have it here. If you guys can share that on your page, that helps with algorithms too. You guys can share that on your pages to your YouTube to wherever. That helps out a lot. So thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Cha Cha B, for being here this morning. Gina, thank you for being here. Yeah, and also, I'm glad you came on this morning. But yeah, thank you for the suggestions about getting those information out there through the mail-in service. So that's where I got the idea from you all, and I'm really grateful, Gina, for you bringing that up, because that really helped out. And that's what I'm looking into today, is to go out to the post office and see if I can get that stuff out there. So thank you so much. Cheryl Collier, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for your prayers, and I really appreciate it. And I'm doing everything I can, humanistically possible, what any man would do for his family. We're protectors, and we have to, protect our family. I'm protecting my son, his honor, his dignity, his respect. And his justice. Daniel needs justice, and we're going to have that. So, Wendy, thank you so much for being here this morning. Forever Curious, thank you for being here this morning. If anybody have any questions, please put the word question there, followed by your question, a capital letter Q, anything like that to help me when I come down. Thank you also for your question, Rona. First of all, thank you for being here this morning. Is there any legal way that you can force Buckeye or the FBI search or give you the case files? Well, there's a thing called FOIA, so Freedom of Information Act. So I'm trying to get everything I can from that. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but it's a time and place, and I have reasons. But you know what? Yes, there's a lot of ways by law, to get some things that you can. If it's active investigation, some things can be held back from you, but but definitely, get all the information I can from that. So yes, working on that. First of all, I got to get the FBI involved with my son's case to get anything. Hopefully, well, I don't know how the FBI work, but definitely just want them involved into my son's case. And still working for that, and still going to continue to push that thought. Saying that's what I want, and that's what I'm going for. And door hangers. I see Tub 883. I think that's about the door hangers. You know how you get a cable man come at your house, fix your internet or something. You at the home, and they stick something on your door and say, "Hey, we was here, time and date, blah blah blah." That's what the door hangers are. If you people want to know what those are, to be able to put on the door, those are door hangers. Hey, I was here, and the information and stuff like that. So, all right, like, share, subscribe if you can. Everybody, I really appreciate it. I think I'm getting down to it. Okay, we have Court TV. Okay, thank you, Cheryl Collier. Court TV shows pictures of missing people. Tri Channel as well. I've been on Court TV before. They did feature Daniel's story along with me and my investigator at the time. But yes, I can retract and contact these people, and I do all the time, y'all. I contact these everybody, all the producers, to people that got me on some of these shows or whatever, Court TV as well. Talk to these people. Like I said, that's why I have this YouTube channel, because what happens is, after a while, to them, my opinion, I'm saying it this way, I'm not saying this is necessarily true, your story become boring to them, and so you can't get the story out there like I want to keep Daniel's story out there. So that's why I have a YouTube channel, and until then, I get more coverage out there nationally and things like that. I came down to a YouTube channel. Again, this YouTube channel, I've been thinking about it. Talked to Gisela K, Grizzly True Crime. She gave me everything she had, every tool that she got to teach me how to get this website started. Matter of fact, She's the one that comes in on this channel to put in some of those templates and things like that, and put them in the folders and things like that. So and tell me everything I need to do from get the channel to grow. So you have to create your own, Cheryl. You have to end up creating your own. Court TV and all that stuff is great, but you have to create your own sometimes to be able to get the story out there along with Court TV and everybody else. But just don't sit and wait on them to be able to put your person's story out there. You have to make sure you keep your person's story out there. So the only way to do so that I know how is to create my own, and that's this YouTube channel. And that's to ask you guys to like, share, subscribe for a reason. Not because I want a whole bunch of followers and things like that. Some people actually have YouTube channels, so I understand they use it, saying for different reasons. Some do it for a living, some do it for whatever. But this is right here is for my son to getting awareness out there by the story. Also, it also usher in the foundation, Daniel Robinson Foundation, that will be coming up soon, and that we're working on getting off the ground. So it helps out in all of that. It helps other families. Give them a place to tell their story. So that's coming up too. So thank you, Cheryl, for your question. I do have one from Kathy. Thank you for being here again this morning off of YouTube this time. I really thank you so much. Do you know if there are flyers in Walmart? Yeah, we put some of the volunteers go to. It's so many Walmarts, but I can't say which ones. But yeah, if it's some Walmarts being able to put on their boards the flyers. So different Walmarts here around Phoenix, Tempe, some other area, Goodyear, and some of these other areas around the Phoenix area. As in Buckeye, I'm not sure. I think I had one volunteer said that they was going to do something like that one time before, but I'm not definitely sure about Buckeye. But I do know the areas around this area of Phoenix. Some Walmarts and things like that did get some flyers put up, and that was some time ago. May there be more put up there again in different places. But yes, we do have volunteers do things like that. So thank you for your question. Thank you again, Duchess, and discussion for being here. I appreciate you too. You all, I think that was it for today. I will be, like I said, we still have a search on this tomorrow morning. And if you guys can come out, I appreciate it. Don't forget that, like I said, the anonymous tip line, 24 hours is a paid tip line, 24 hours, 7 days a week. If you guys, please, if you got any tips or things like that, real tips that are going to bring Daniel home, use the tip line. Like I say, live operators, I pay for that 24 hours, 7 days a week. They take your call. You can stay anonymous if you like to. But like I say, if you don't want to talk to them, that number is able to take your text. You just text the word tip to that number. The form will come up for you. And you can still remain anonymous if you like. Or if you're just not comfortable doing that either, you just want, hey, Mr. Robinson, I want to tell you directly what's going on. You can do that too. This number that's strolling down the bottom, the 803-200-7994. You can give me a tip there, but I can tell you I would not be able to provide you to be anonymous on that number. So unless you're using a burner phone, like I often say, where I don't know where you're calling from or who you are, I would suggest you use the anonymous tip line to give your anonymous tip if you want to stay anonymous. That'll be a better thing for you. Also, if you was leaving it on 200 number, I have an influx of text messages. I got them down to a certain point, and now I'm at, I think, like 60 some text messages. I'm still going through just to get to people text messages. And I'm telling everybody who do have a text message, and they wonder why it takes so long for me to answer back. I'm coming down the line, and as I'm coming down, sometimes more build up, and I get lost track, and and ones on the bottom end up taking a lot longer. So I will be answering those text. But everything can be found on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, right there on the stroll on the bottom of the screen. Pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and everything from how you can help, how you can donate, how you can help in other ways. So there's a form, a link up there at the top, how you can help in other ways. If you live in another state and you want to make these flyers yourself, that's a PDF there. If you want to do other things, because it is a foundation coming up and things like that, you can help outside of Arizona. That's the other ways you can help. You can fill out that form and get your skill sets. And again, people ask me, hey, I did the skill sets thing and nobody contacted me back. We will. We're just putting things in order and stuff. It's going to take a while. Those skill sets is for future endeavors and things like that. But if you want to help right now, like I said, you can get out those flyers. You hit that phone number I had on the screen. Say, hey, Mr. Robinson, I need you to send me some flyers. Or if you want to make them yourself, all I do is keep asking you, please, I hold us up again. Please, if you can, make them the size of the postcard. That helps out a lot because, like I say, you can put them in the size of hand, put them in your pocket and things like that for people to be able to carry it along with them and stuff like that. Paper is a little different. People are not going to hold a paper or walk around with a paper or things like that. I mean, you can post it, you can make them up for the size of paper if you want to put them up on storefronts and things like that. But even those ones right there is good for storefronts and stuff like that. So either way you look at it, but the whole bottom line, if you want to help that way, you can. Also, there's a current events tab there when we have some events or things that's coming up. You guys can join in. Just look at what come up the upcoming events. Also, there's everything. There's everything on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com that you need. The next operation search will be tomorrow morning at 6:45 tomorrow morning. The flyer distribution will be tomorrow afternoon at 3:15. All that information right there is on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Again, like I said, just go to that also that tab, volunteer and the help in other ways. You can find that on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I'm sure it's higher than that. 112,652 signatures. Last I checked the other day. I didn't check today. I'm sure and I'm hoping and praying that it's a lot higher than that. But you know, each one of those signatures are people. They are not a number. So you can be a part of that those people who signed those petitions. And I'm really grateful for you all who have already signed the petition. If you have multiple email addresses, you can do it multiple times. You don't have to do it just one time. You can do it multiple times. You also can call the Buckeye Police Department and demand whatever you got to say to them. I'm not going to tell you what you have to say to them, other than I can tell you I'm not asking them to work on my son's case. I asked them to pass it along. It's been almost 10 months now, and they have proven to me that they're either unwilling or unable to handle my son's case. At this point, I have no confidence in them. And I'd rather have an outside agency. So what I'm asking for is them to bring in an outside agency to handle my son's case, to investigate his case and things like this. Pass the torch over to someone else who can actually do that job. Invite in the FBI to take over my son's case. So I really need them to do that. So you guys can do that. The person that you need to talk to, if you have to, is the name of Chief Hall. You get the same number there, you guys, if you need that. So thank you all for your support, your love, support. I'm really grateful for that. If you please, again, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That definitely helps out, the algorithm and everything else. So again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. I really thank you all for being here this morning on this here Q&A. I'll see you on Monday morning at 6:45 here in Arizona time, and that'll be 6:30. 6:30. See, everything kind of run together. 6:30 on Monday morning, a.m. Here in Arizona, and then also at 9:30 a.m. on the East Coast. So you guys can adjust your time in that. I really appreciate you being here. Hopefully, I will have some other family on that will come on and want to share their personal story. So God bless you again. I love you all for being here. And thank you so much for getting this channel up to where it's at today. It's all because of you all. And I'm really grateful for you all. God bless you. And thank you for helping me try to find my son. We will find him together. And I'm really grateful for that. You all helping with that. God bless you. Love you. Talk to you later.